Jennifer Lopez appeared on The View with the intention of discussing her latest music release and a slate of upcoming philanthropic projects that she said were especially close to her heart. Her entrance was met with cheers and admiration, the kind of reception she had become accustomed to over decades of work in entertainment. She greeted each co-host with warmth and a practiced charm that felt authentic, despite the cameras and lights. Joy Behar opened with pleasantries, but the smile didn't fully reach her eyes and those who had followed The View. For years sensed that the table was set for something deeper, something sharper than a simple press run interview. The conversation started harmlessly with talks about Lopez's discipline, her business ventures, and her image in the media. But beneath it all was a noticeable tension, a clash of energies waiting to ignite. Joy leaned in with a pointed tone, shifting from compliments to criticism without changing facial expression. She asked Jennifer whether she believed the criticism about her public relationships was deserved or merely exaggerated tabloid noise. Lopez responded with calm, explaining that while she had been public about love and heartbreak, she had always tried to retain some element of privacy to protect what mattered most. Joy quickly followed up, suggesting that Lopez had commodified her romances for attention and that people questioned whether her latest projects were genuine or just another brand expansion. Jennifer's face remained composed, but her tone shifted ever so slightly, her words deliberate. She said that everything she created came from a place of real connection and that reducing her efforts to publicity stunts undermined not just her work, but the causes and communities she worked to uplift. Joy pressed further, asking if Jennifer ever regretted being so open with the public about her personal life, suggesting that it might have backfired over the years. Lopez's the reply was soft but firm, saying that vulnerability shouldn't be seen as weakness, and that sharing her life had helped others feel less alone. She added that scrutiny was inevitable, but judgment didn't always come with understanding. Joy responded that some people thought Lopez leaned too much into her image, instead of letting her talent speak for itself. Jennifer raised her eyebrows and responded that her longevity was a result of talent, discipline, and love for her craft, not manufactured visibility. She said that her career wasn't sustained by headlines, but by hard work and creative risk. The applause from the audience was tentative, unsure whether to encourage the tension or support the guest. But the atmosphere was clearly shifting. The exchange grew more intense as Joy asked why Jennifer hadn't addressed certain controversies from earlier in her career and whether her silence on some issues was strategic. Jennifer looked visibly surprised by the direction and responded that not every battle needs a public statement, and that sometimes silence is protection, not guilt. She said she had grown wiser about what deserved her energy and what didn't, and that she didn't owe the world an explanation for every chapter of her journey. Joy replied, saying, "Isn't that convenient when silence benefits the brand, but not the people watching?" That remark landed hard. Lopez sat forward, hands folded, and said, "It's not about convenience, it's about peace, and choosing peace doesn't make me evasive, it makes me human." The audience responded with applause, this time more decisive, sensing the emotional weight of the moment. Joy's next question hit even harder. She asked if Jennifer thought she had contributed to unrealistic beauty standards and whether her image choices over the years reinforced the very pressures young women now struggle against. Lopez's eyes narrowed, her voice cooled slightly. She said that beauty shouldn't be weaponized and that self-expression had always been part of her empowerment, not a tool of oppression. She added that she never asked to be a symbol and that public expectation often distorted individual intention. Joy quipped, "Well, you do post a lot of selfies and promotional images. Doesn't that reinforce the very thing you're defending against?" Lopez paused, visibly biting her tongue before replying. "You don't get to define how I love myself or how I show up in the world just because you don't like the way it looks." Joy rolled her eyes subtly and muttered under her breath, "Maybe that's the problem right there." The audience gasped, and the other hosts looked visibly uncomfortable. Sunny and Anna exchanged glances while Whoopi leaned back in her chair, arms crossed. Unsure if she should intervene, Jennifer sat up straighter, her voice no longer calm but direct and strong. She said, I came here to speak as a woman, an artist, and a person who has lived a lot of life, not to be dissected like a headline. You don't have to like me, but you do have to respect the fact that I'm sitting here owning my truth. Joy looked down at her notes as if trying to formulate a follow-up, but the moment was clearly slipping out of her control. Lopez continued, "You've had decades on this platform, and with that comes power, but power without empathy becomes cruelty, and I won't be part of that today or any other day." Asterisk. Joy seemed momentarily shaken by the comment, but tried to regain control of the room with another pointed question, asking whether Lopez felt like she was still relevant in a culture constantly looking for the next big thing. Lopez's face was expressionless for a beat before she replied with a soft but cutting line, "I don't need to be next. I just need to be now, and now I know this isn't the space I thought it was." She reached for the mic attached to her collar, unclipped it with quiet precision, and stood. The audience gasped again, this time followed by pockets of applause as Jennifer gave a nod to the remaining co-hosts and walked calmly but powerfully off the set, leaving Joy speechless and the entire studio buzzing with shock. Asterisk. After the commercial break, Whoopi addressed the moment briefly, saying that sometimes tough conversations get emotional, and that the show had always been about letting people speak their truth. Joy offered no apology, just a simple, well, she chose to leave. That's on her. The internet quickly exploded with reactions, with fans defending Lopez's grace under pressure and critics accusing Joy of overstepping her role as a host. Celebrities weighed in, tweets flooded timelines, and the moment became one of the most talked about segments of the week. Lopez posted nothing in the hours that followed, but her team issued a short statement saying, "Jennifer believes in showing up authentically and will continue to do so wherever she's respected and heard." Asterisk. In the days that followed, clips of the walkout trended across platforms dissected by media outlets. Fans and commentators alike, some argued that Joy was doing her job, others claimed the line of questioning crossed into personal attack. But what resonated most was Lopez's decision not to escalate, not to retaliate, but simply to leave the moment. Became symbolic, a representation of what it means to choose peace over performance and self-respect over spectacle. Whether one agreed with her or not, there was something undeniable in her resolve. The grace with which she exited the room and the silence that echoed louder than any insult could have. Asterisk.